channel. My name is Julia Mbani, commonly known as Jules. On this channel, we love to talk about books, literature development, and a sprinkle of other things here and there. If that sounds like your cup of tea, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with your people. Let's connect. Guys, if you hear some people playing, children in the background, it's Saturday, children are playing, let them play. I'll try to project. So this is a follow-up of the video I uploaded last week where I was talking about the 5 African literature books I would like to get through. And someone requested I make a video about 5 African literature books I would actually recommend, the ones that I've read. So I was like, okay, I can do that as well. If you know me at all, you know that I've not read like too many African literature books, but luckily I have a few that I've read that I can actually recommend, and basically that's what this video will be about. I hope you'll be able to find 1 or 2 that you can pick up, and let's go. So the first book in this list has to be Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. First of all, this cover is extremely pretty. I love it. I love it so much. So Homegoing is a book I read last year or 2021, I think 2021, and I remember giving it 5 stars. This is basically a story based in Ghana. It starts off in Ghana, and it's a story about slavery. So it focuses on 2 sisters. One was sold into slavery as a slave, and then the other one became a slave owner's wife. And this distinction affects the rest of their generations. So you can just see how such a small decision as being sold as a slave and being a slave master's wife, how it affected the trajectory of these 2 people's lives. It's an intergenerational book, like it goes generation, showing how that one decision affected the rest of the family line. The writing was magnificent. It does have a bit of heavy themes. I mean, slavery by itself is extremely heavy, and you can already just imagine the other kind of themes that can be found in this book. But the writing was really beautiful. I loved this book. I highly recommend it. So this will be my first, Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. Check it out. I really liked it. I think there's another cover, but I'm glad I got this one because this is super pretty. The second book is The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emezi. For those who've been watching my videos, you know this is the only Akwaeke Emezi book that I actually really like. It's the only one I would 100% recommend. Because it's called The Death of Vivek Oji, you kind of already know Vivek Oji will die. It's in the name. But it's a tale about Vivek, who is coming to terms with who they are, being their true authentic self. Unfortunately, this just happened to be in an environment that does not support that yet. It's set in Nigeria, and yeah, it was I know people really say it broke their hearts and whatnot, but for me, I think because I already knew that he will eventually die, it didn't come as a surprise. But I kind of saw where the author was going when trying to show us how hard it was for Vivek to be their true authentic self in the environment that they were in. So it was a quick read. I read it in I think 2 days. I gave it, if I'm not wrong, 4 stars. I really recommend The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emezi. The third book on this list is The Havoc of Choice by Wanjiru Koinange. This is a Kenyan author, in case you didn't know. The Havoc of Choice is basically kind of like a retelling from a certain perspective of what happened in Kenya during the 2007 elections. If you don't know, we went through the 2007 post-election violence where there was a lot of bloodshed between 2 particular tribes in Kenya over the results of the presidential election. It was one of Kenya's darkest time. It's a period that we hope to never get to again. And this is a book that I think helps to spread the information and knowledge of what happened during that period, especially for people like myself, who, first of all, I was young back in 2007, and number 2, I was privileged enough to be in an environment where this post-election violence was not, I did not feel the impact of it, if I can say that. And this was not the case for everyone else. So the older you get and you read such books and you watch documentaries and, you know, clips and recordings of that period, you realize how severe it was, how easily people lost their lives. And I am of the opinion this book should even be somehow put in our curriculum, just so future generations keep knowing about this and always strive to avoid getting in that situation. So this is The Havoc of Choice. I highly recommend this book, especially to Kenyans, but also to those who are not Kenyans. I've had a few people criticize this book, but to me, I'm just like, it's still worth reading. Like, still get it, read it. Also support Kenyan authors, honestly, and it's well written. So yeah, The Havoc of Choice, one of my favorite books. The next book is The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abi Dare. I really enjoyed this book. It's one of those books that was written in a very humorous way. I like books that, although they're talking about something serious and heavy, you still are able to find the humor in it. The main character in this book is called Aduni, and she's 49 years old. And my God, not 49. She's 14 years old. Sorry guys, she's 14 years old, and she's been taught to always be silent and fade into the background, but she's not about that life. So it's called The Girl with the Louding Voice because it also indicates kind of, I felt like this indicated the broken English that Aduni speaks throughout the book. I really recommend this book. It has a solid message, especially for young girls. It shows you some of the realities that some people are still living in, and at the same time it is well written and humorous. So The Girl with the Louding Voice. The next book on this list is Chintu by Jennifer Nansumbuga Makumbi. This is a book that I got peer pressured into reading, but one that I 100% am so happy that I did. I gave this 5 stars out of 5. This book blew my mind away. So Jennifer is Ugandan, and this book is set in Uganda. It's about Chintu and his generation, how a family curse like manifested into generations to come. It has a lot of things in it: African mythology, a bit of fantasy. I can't explain, but it has a lot of different aspects, or should I call them genres, incorporated together. It is very authentic. That I remember, that's what I really loved about this book. The authenticity behind the writing was so good to me. It did not shy about speaking things that are pertinent to Africans. Basically, this book was not sanitized for white audiences, how I usually find some African books are. So this, I am now one of those stans, one of those Chintu stans. I joined that club, so I highly recommend this book. So yeah, that's the list of books that I can confidently recommend. I have others, but I'm not too... I don't want to stand behind them and then people say it's me who recommended it, but these 5 are the ones that I would say if you're thinking about getting into African literature, you can jump with them. A bonus book that I would recommend, though I don't have my physical copy with me, is The Secret Lives of Babasegi's Wives. This is a book I recommend for anyone who would like to put their foot into African literature. It's about Babasegi, who has 3 wives and then decides to get a 4th wife because she's gone to the university. And yeah, it brings out this secret in the household that just blows everything to pieces. It's a funny book. I would love to see that book as an Afro cinema movie, and I usually recommend it so highly. All the books that I've mentioned are available at Nuria Bookshop, and if you use my discount code in the description, you're able to get a 7% discount off of each book that you buy. So make use of that, get yourself these books, and let me know if you've read any of them, what you thought about them, which are your favorites, which one you didn't like. And I think that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next. Bye.